Hello. Today I thought it would be neat maybe to go over building a feature on Linkidex, or at least part of a feature. And so that's what I'm going to do. I've never done this before. We'll see how this goes. So the feature I'm working on right now is public collections. The idea is that users can have, so right now users have personal collections. Right now users have their own personal links, so they're private links, and then they can also belong to an organization. The new feature is that there's also a concept of public collections. So public collection is going to be accessible to the entire world. You won't even need a Linkidex account to see a public collection. You'll be able to go to, right now this says localhost, but it will say Linkidex, linkidex.com/collections. And you'll see a list. Oh, I gotta turn my server on. You'll be able to go to collections and you'll see a list of all of the collections that anyone has created, and then, which does not exist yet. And then there will be a collections / some form of ID, and then you'll be viewing that collection. That view page is going to be the same thing as the normal link search page. I think this is called link search. And with a little bit of extra stuff at the top, I'm going to say, oh, this collection belongs to this user, and this is the name of the collection. But people will otherwise be able to use Linkidex the same way that they can use it now, where you can have your categories and tags, and I, as a user, can create a public collection that has its own tags and its own categories and its own collections, its own folders, and I can send this to somebody, and somebody else will be looking at basically this exact UI plus a little bit of extra stuff and get to use Linkidex. It'll let people share lists of collections. It'll let people share lists of links, collections of links amongst their friends, coworkers, everyone, and it will hopefully incentivize people to use Linkidex when they land on this thing. They're like, oh, this is a really neat UI. Oh, I can use this not only for this person's links, but for all of mine too. And then they'll hopefully download Linkidex or create an account, and then I'll get 1 billion users and can do this full time. So that's the dream. So far, what I've done is, when building this, when I first built the link search page, and ignore all of this data, this is just randomly generated information from Ruby on Rails gem, Ruby gem. When I originally built this feature, links, the way you should build components in the front end is you should have, or I guess I'll say a way, is to have display components and data manipulation components. So you would have a component that says fetches all of these links, and then you would take those links and you would pass them into a display component that, given links, displays stuff. All of this is one component. Well, it's a bunch of components, but all has like one root, the link search page. Then there's the link search bar, there's the link search details, there's the link search results, there's the link search buttons. Can I get it? No. It's these 4 things. This is the header. All of those, had I coded this the correct way originally, would have been passed links, and then given those links, these components would have just done what they needed to do. That's not what I did, though. I took the easy/cheap way, or I just didn't do it the right way. And so the top level component here was also doing the data fetching. The reason that's a problem is because down the road, if I want to do something different, so right now all these, like, what originally was happening in this component was I was fetching the links for a given user. So I'm user ID 12 right now. So user ID 12, you load this component and all of the links for user ID 12 load. But loading those links and then displaying those links is all coupled together. It's all done at once. What I needed to do is to refactor this so that I could pass in links to all of these components, all of this stuff. Again, there it is. So that I can in the future pass a different set of links and still use all of this JavaScript code in HTML, CSS. In our specific use case, I need to be able to reuse this and pass in not the links that the logged in user owns, but pass in the links that a given collection owns based on the URL. If you're at /collection/123, I need to fetch all of the links for collection 123 and then pass them to this component. And then if I do that, I get to reuse this UI. It just all works, which is pretty cool. And so I did that refactor already. So this is the link page. This is the link page, what we're looking at right now. Excuse me. The link page renders two things. It renders the link backend pull. Don't worry about that. That's a backend updating thing for if links change. If you upload bookmarks, polling happens to see when the bookmark upload is complete, and then we reload your links so you don't have to manually refresh the page. It's actually a semi-recent feature, so a week ago. And then there's the link search wrapper. So this originally was just link search. The link search wrapper is new. All of the logic in the link search wrapper used to be just in link search, and all link search wrapper does is render link search and pass in data, which is paginated links. So all of this fetching link stuff, and all this is me just fetching, I think, 100 links at a time. Fetching like paginatedly paginatedly fetching 100 links at a time to populate this list, because you can have well over 100 links. I think the limit's like 10,000 right now. So this just fetches 100 of them at a time, and then fetches the next 100, the next 100, etc., etc. And then when it gets that information, it passes that into data. And then link search, there's no code has changed in here. All I've done is remove stuff. This is still like way too big of a component, but that's a future thing to handle. So that's what I did for links, and it worked, and it's awesome. I haven't actually passed in any other links, but if I'm using TypeScript, and all of this is typed, so if the link search wrapper is working and it's passing paginated links, which are typed as paginated links, and if this works, then I can pass in another array of paginated links and it'll also work. And so what I'm going to pass in the future is paginated links, not from user ID 12, but from collection 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever. So that's all working. The front end code. I haven't put the back end yet, but back end's easy. Not easy, but it's going to be more straightforward because it's just a CRUD API, create, update, destroy. So a future problem. What I'm going to do now is do the same thing, but for categories and tags in this sidebar. And this is going to be a lot more complicated. Potentially, I haven't done any diligence on this. This might be a terrible thing to make a video on. I don't know. The sidebar is by far the most complex component in this application because it's doing a lot of the filtering. You click something, you add filters, it appears up here. There's this, you can filter things by organization. You can do the select favorites thing, clear favorites. There's a lot of data happening here. So this might end up being a little bit of a zoo, but we'll find out. All right, so I'm gonna jump into it.